Hello, it's Chrissy here. I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of the food quotes PowerPoint template I'm including as part of my bonus for Jean's restaurant income system. I've provided you with PNG versions of the quotes, so if all you want to do is brand the images to the restaurant you're working with and nothing else, you can easily do that in your favourite graphics program. I've also included some instructions in case you're not sure about how to do that. But if you want to change the background image to the quotes to a different stock image or an image from the actual restaurant you're working with, then you can do that with this PowerPoint template. I've got it open in front of me, and the first thing I always do is to open the selection pane so I can see all the elements on the slide I'm working on. So from the Home tab, click on Select and Selection pane, and there you can see all the different elements on the slide. And the most important thing to know is that you can't change the actual wording or font for the quotes with this template. And the reason for that is because what you see on the slide are PowerPoint shapes rather than text. So each individual letter within the group is a shape. Normally when you get a PowerPoint template, all you get is dummy placeholder text that of course you want to change. But with these being quotes, you don't need to change the wording. Also, I've used some nice premium fonts to design the quotes with, and the license doesn't let me give you the font. Now what normally happens is when you get a PowerPoint template, the designer's used a whole bunch of different fonts, and you need to have all of those fonts already installed on your computer before you open the template. Otherwise, when you open it, it can look a bit of a jumbled mess and just doesn't look right. And you normally need to find each of the fonts the designer has used, download them to your computer, and then install all of them, close PowerPoint, and then reopen it. It can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes, especially if you can't find the right font or the designer has used a font that's not actually licensed for commercial use, which I've seen happen quite often. You can download the font for free, but if you read the license, it says that if you're using it commercially, then you need to pay. So I've created these quotes in a way that avoids that situation, but still gives you flexibility with regard to the colours and positioning. Because if you're changing the background image, the positioning I've used for the quotes won't necessarily fit perfectly with the new background image you're using. So it's important for you to be able to reposition the text and possibly change the colour if that's what you want to do too. Let's look at a few slides and you'll see what I mean. So we're on this first slide here, and let's change the background image. So from the Design tab on the ribbon, then you click on Format Background, and you see we've got checked here Picture or Text Fill. That's because we've used an image. Now to change that image, you want to go Insert, and you choose from a file on your computer or online pictures. I'll choose from a file. Now I've got a bunch of images here which I've downloaded from Pexels, which is a site where you can download images and use them free of charge for commercial purposes as well. So let's change the image. I'm going to choose this one. Click Insert. Okay, so PowerPoint has brought the image in now as the background, but as you can see, the quote doesn't really fit now with the positioning of this new image. So I want to change a few things around. So I click on to feed the graphic in the selection pane, and then I hover my cursor until I see this cross icon, and I'm going to drag it to a bit more suitable place. I'm going to do the same with the word soul, and I'm going to drag that here. Now I can also change the size of these by clicking on these nodes. I can drag it up, or if you do it by the corner it'll resize like that, and that will make that fit better in that space. And then we've got these little hearts, and I'm just going to drag these over here instead. And let me just adjust this a little tiny bit too, take it so it's not touching the plate. And there you can see now that quote fits much better in with this new image. Let's say, for example, you decide you want the word love the same colour as this tomato. All you need to do to change the colours of the quotes, make sure you're on the Format Shape tab, and if you haven't got that open, then you can find it up here, Shape Format, and that's in the Design tab on the ribbon. Then Shape Format, and you go to Solid Fill, and you change the color from this little drop down box. If you want it exactly, you would use the eyedropper, and we'll choose this color, and then that automatically matches up that color. I'll just undo that. Let's say you want to do your branding as well at the same time. So choose website URL in the selection pane, then hover your cursor over, click and drag, and then you can start typing. We'll just change that to your businessname.com. And then as you can see, the text bounding box wasn't quite long enough for all those letters, so just drag it out so it accommodates the new text that you've typed there. Now if you wanted to change the colour of that, for example, and you're not sure how to do that, with it already selected, go to the Home tab and click on this little drop down arrow here, and then you can change it to whatever colour you want. And because you've got it selected from the selection pane, if you hover over any of these colours, PowerPoint will give you a preview of how that will look. Alright, let's look at this one. Now let's say you've got a client that wants to get really fancy and he wants to change the colour of the word pizza, and he wants to change it to the colours of the Italian flag. Click on Freeform Shape and to highlight the letter, and let's say you want to change that to green. You click on this Fill Paint Bucket icon, click on Solid Fill, and then click on the green colour that you want. Now you can see that's got a red outline still, so make sure to click on this line and change the line to the same colour. Okay, so you can do that with each individual letter if you want to start getting really fancy. Leave one green, leave one red, leave one white, and then carry on like that. Okay, I'm just going to undo that again. This is pretty much the same, you know, I've done each one the same way. Even this is a very fancy font that I paid for because I thought how cool that looked. And if you want to change the colour of it, like I said, just click on that paint bucket icon and you can change it to black or whatever you want to change it to. Now, some of these I've created as just one image. You'll see that there's not very many elements on this slide, and that's because this pizza quote image is just one single image. Okay, so you can't actually change anything about that one. You could just change the shape if you wanted to, or the sizing. Sorry, not the shape, the sizing I meant to say. With this overlay, you can turn it off by toggling the I button if you prefer. Let's say you actually wanted, instead of a picture background on this particular one, you wanted a pattern or something like that. So you could do all sorts of things with regard to the background on this one. You don't have to, you don't have to stick with the backgrounds that I've supplied. These last three are just single image quotes again, so you can't change the actual image, but of course you can change the background. Now you can see on this background is a pattern that I created with the free online pattern generator tool, and it's got all these little Mexican symbols with the little man and the taco cart and stuff like that. I thought that was quite fun. And that's exactly the same with this one. And let's say, for example, you did not like the knife and fork, you just wanted the quote. All you need to do is toggle them off. These are only the first that I've got ready. I'm still working on more. Now let's look at exporting these as images then. So if you want to export a single image, you highlight the slide that you want to export, and you go File, Save As, and then instead of PPTX extension, choose the image extension that you want, say for example PNG. Okay, call it by whatever name you want. I'm just going to say slide 1, and then whatever folder you're in, you just click Save, and it'll ask you all slides or just this one. So on this occasion you would just click just this one, and then PowerPoint would save that one single image into whichever folder you've asked it to save it into. And then if you wanted to save all of the slides, well, give it a, the correct name, and as PNG again, and click save, and then say all slides instead, and it will do all of the slides in that template as PNG, and it will put them in there in a folder. And that is about that. I hope that was helpful and clear, and I will get the others done as soon as I can. But in the meantime, hopefully you can get started with these and you can see how flexible they are, and you can make them different, give them a different look just by changing the background and repositioning the text. And I hope you have fun with them. Thank you.